There isn't anything that you ever had. There isn't anything that you own. There isn't any right that you possess that they're not planning on taking away. Your sheeple. And your children are going to be slaughtered if you go along with the program. It's time to wake the town and tell the sheeple. We're being led like sheep to the slaughter. What is the purpose? A new world order. The United States of America is controlled by this evil art. They control the money system. They control the State Department. They control the presidency.
So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occult religion.
They're going to have been deceived so greatly that they'll actually think it's something good. In fact, the whole New Age movement, the New World Order crowd is telling people that the 666 mark of the beast is the most elite thing that could ever happen to them.
No cash. Cashless society. He's ready to go. Disease could be created. In essence, this is what he was saying.
We have new strains of virtually everything that's drug resistant or drug.
I'm not worried about the old diseases. I'm worried about the ones that they create to bring down the population of the world. They simply want to exterminate them. Because they consider them to be useless eaters. Words are very important to the Illuminati. These things are manufactured purposely for a purpose. And so I'm saying that there is something organized and directed, and it's here in this country.
Future shocker, biochip. And this is what Anthony showed you earlier, a biochip. It's an injectable computer chip. An economic mark in the back of our right hands or in our forehead. You've got a choice.
You can join in this fight, or you can die as a slave.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse, it's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. I have been a spy. I'm out from undercover. I'm under a lifetime secrecy agreement. I absolutely tell you without doubt, I have no secrets that I can remember. If when I go to Iran soon, they can torture me, there's nothing there for them to get. I have found in my research and preparation for this court and all of the work that will follow, that most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children. The elite appear to be seeking to infect local and provincial law enforcement officers with a taste for pedophilia. There appears to be a very deliberate attempt to push this interest in pedophile movies, including movies that include bestiality. I'm very concerned because we're seeing some snuff movies now, and we're seeing some movies in which military war dogs are raping children, including toddlers. And these movies may have come out of the American occupation of Afghanistan and the boredom of U.S. Army and Marine Corps troops, where in Afghanistan, pedophilia is common.
Don't shoot the messenger.
3 foods I love. Number 1, Pizza Land Pizza Margarita. Now, Pizza Land doesn't exist anymore.
I'm telling you, baby oil it just go with everything. You can get baby oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. I had baby oil all around my mouth.
Imagine you had all that money and you invited all high-profile people over to your house, and all you ordered was a bit of pizza. And everyone raves about it and go on about how they got good pictures.
Hollywood Records contract, and I signed to it. That my first record ever, and selling my soul to Hollywood Records. I'm so excited! I made a little sign here. Done. I just signed my first record contract.
Rituals would happen at Blenheim Palace and Donington Castle.
What type of rituals?
They would have the circle of people, and then you'd have women or children in the middle of the circle, and then there would be the sacrifice there. They would eat the sacrifice victim. They'd eat, well, the animals they sacrificed as well. There was animals and stuff.
And stuff.
Animals and humans. Children, babies.
Oh, you should totally not listen to me because I'm just a crazy tinfoil hat wearing madman. Let's just look at one thing. How many people come forward and say similar things, describe similar patterns, and have very similar accounts, and I guess they're all just lying, they all just want the world to think that they're crazy. And the allegations and the things that they say that ostracize them and make them social pariahs around family and friends, they're all just doing it for attention and clout, clearly.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so sick that we can't talk. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322. You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
Tim Russert, moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's Washington Bureau Chief, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
Secret pizza party. Tomorrow we're down. Then you're gonna love this book. Here's Sebastian. Look.
Don't forget Benjamin Netanyahu. And I have another thing I want to tell the Jewish people. You are a God-fearing, good people ruled by Satan-worshipping gangsters, okay? The Israeli flag should have been the menorah. Instead, you have a satanic symbol, okay? That is a satanic symbol on your flag. That is not a Jewish symbol. Why isn't the menorah on the Israeli flag? I'll tell you why. Because the Rothschild families who created Israel worship Lucifer. They worship Satan. They don't worship Yahweh. They're not real Jews. Their real name is Bauer. They're using you. And you're making a fool of yourself by going along with the same plan. Hurry up and arrest those criminals who have taken over leadership of your society. This is not a joke. There's enough evidence out there for everybody to know it's true. It's all over there. Anybody who has done any research in the well-documented, thoroughly proven fact will know that a criminal gang has controlled your financial system for the past 300 years, and they are planning genocide. They must be stopped.
What is the Podesta plan?
Well, when I talk about this, I get chills because
19 states have seceded. The United States.
Guys, what do you call this? You call it
West Coast Offense. It's a Western Alliance.
Western Alliance.
Yeah.
Okay. The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
And then they made a movie produced 2 years ago. They released last year called Civil War. That is the last act of the Podesta plan.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens.
He's going to finally get a direct order to deploy paratroopers into the streets of Washington, D.C. I'm thinking with weapons and mayhem.
He said, we're going to have Western states secede, California, Oregon, and Washington, and we'll call it over migrants and sanctuary cities and healthcare at first. Then, when there's civil unrest, it's still furnished.
They're throwing bricks at the police.
This is the setup.
Trump will send the National Guard, and then there'll be a massacre gang violence. Great. And then we will kick off a civil war.
People should be forcefully rising up against
They're openly waiting to gear up the violence. They're going to false flag, I believe. So the illegal aliens, the traditional black college, they evacuated the traditional black colleges. I didn't even know that. And it said Charlie Kirk supporters are coming to kill you. And then it turned out it was a false flag. They admitted fake calls, trying to piggyback on that and create this illusion that Trump supporters blamed black people for this. There's hundreds of videos of them all on there saying, black people got to be ready. Trump's coming to kill you with Tom Homan. You got to have your guns and be ready. View, we got to be ready to fight and die. They're coming to kill us. On CNN, they'll be sitting there debating. Trump's coming with the military to kill black people and Hispanics. Trump needs to address the nation on this, talk about the Podesta plan. Any of his crew, I can send it to him, can put a reel together.
He is trying to eliminate black existence from this country.
And he also is somebody that's advocating for deploying the military against U.S. citizens.
Trump over the weekend was talking about using the U.S. Army against people who disagree with him. Just so you're clear about that, that's you.
That's going to be using the military against our own citizens.
Well, wait,
this kind of thing concerns me.
What do you mean? But I want you to say more about that, because you're talking about deploying the U.S. military. Remember, Mark Esper told him, no, you cannot shoot American citizens.
Donald Trump says, we don't care. You go die.
An illegal alien demonstration or something, somebody from a parking garage mows a bunch of them down, blames it on some Trump supporter.
I also want to thank you for having Prince, William Shatner, Puff Daddy, and Mick Jagger on the same stage. That is the sign of the apocalypse. Thank you. Thank you. That is the end of the world as we know it.
I asked God, I said, God, why? And this is 4 o'clock in the morning, and God hits me with this wave, and God says, I want you to see why. And it's a battle of potential. And I want you to hear what God said to me. He said, Yaakov, when I cast Lucifer out of heaven with a third of the angels, he knows that the redemption of my son Jesus Christ, the blood of my son, does not cover. He shall never return. There is a hatred that we can't fathom for your child from Satan. Why? Because even if your child stumbles, even if your child falls, even if your child departs like the prodigal son and go eat with the swine, when your child decides to return to the Lord, there'll be a robe and a ring, and your child will be adopted into the kingdom of heaven, and Satan can never go back. He can never go. Christ did not die for Lucifer. He did not cover Lucifer. And there's a hatred for the offspring, enmity with God. There's a hatred that our sons and daughters could choose Jesus and be adopted back to the table, which Lucifer once sat at.
I got a cool new hat. I mentioned it in the gaming live stream that I started at 9 p.m. every single night. Oh, it's the end of the world. Or it's gonna be very, very soon. Gonna react to the internet, see what's been going on. I haven't been on the internet all day. I haven't seen anything. I've been making it a point to not be on the internet all day until I do the live stream. So I haven't seen nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on with my setup right now. I didn't even do my audio correctly because I used the earbuds. I smashed one of my earbuds like an idiot. Only the left one works now. The right one does not work at all. I'm going to explore X for a little while, and then I'm going to do some YouTube. I had a lot of views, or a lot of viewers there for a minute, just on that beginning clip thing that I had. It almost had 10 viewers on Rumble. That was crazy. Can't believe that. So anyway, every night, 9 p.m., doing gaming live stream. And then I guess I'm going to start doing these at midnight, because that's when I'm winding down, and that's when I get my news anyways, at midnight. When I go to bed, I go to bed. But this is probably the last time for a while that I'm not going to have a collaborator. I'm going to have a guy here with me, at least in the room with me while I'm doing streams for a little while. And that's going to be fun. He finally somebody to help me out with this shit, man. I've been doing everything myself, but it's just a hobby. But still, it's a lot whenever you're trying to turn a hobby into something. Couldn't tell I'm a farmer. Trying to do full-time farming, actually. In the next couple weeks, we're going to be full-time farming. We're going to be growing all kinds of crops. We're getting a cow. We've already got a whole bunch of animals. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get into some commentary. So I just opened X. This was the first thing that popped up. There is now a tool being made for the internet to unmask the censorship of the Epstein files. Well, all right then. What? Okay. Well, all right. Technology. Crazy. Everybody's cooked. Even the people who are in power.
Front, left.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm on the wrong speaker.
Front, left.
There we go. Everybody is cooked. Even the pedo elites. What else we got here? What else happened today? Anime is either in trouble or about to be open to everyone. The Sea Dance videos are flying as access opens up. Oh boy. Yeah, this looks like anime. This is going to be a real problem. Not for me. This is great for people like me. I don't like these rich corporate studios that run all of these things that I like anyway. So, you know, fuck them.
I just know you're fucking with me. All right, pal. Even if you did have internet, there.
Bro, this is the number one streamer of Israel. Israel's finest.
Dude, he cannot get off of Israel. Everything is Israel.
I saw one of his fucking takes.
Jews.
I saw one of his takes about
all of
like,
my problems.
America #1, and it was awesome.
We've got homeless people on the streets of LA living in tents with a newer iPhone than your president. USA, back-to-back World War champions!
It's fucking awesome.
That is
Hell
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
baby. I said we have an elite pedo cabal running the government so their pedo friends can extract super profits from the global south so that we could we dominate militarily the wealthiest nation on earth. We're close to 1 million people sleep outside every night. We are a cruel joke. We can do better.
We could. We're not gonna.
Spiritually, Dr. Kid Inspect.
We got people like Hassan that are in the way. They're obstacles.
No, this is the new version. That's what I'm saying. This is like the patch notes version where Israel did its very best to be like, let's get Dr. Disrespect, but without the kid diddling.
Okay, that's not what happened, but okay.
That's what it is. You entertain yourself. Your coworkers entertain themselves with burnt peanut. The most coworker entertaining content creator out there, designed in an Israeli laboratory. Let's get to another.
Well, if he was designed in an Israeli laboratory, he's doing pretty good. I don't think it matters because he's winning.
Spiritually Israeli VTuber Chibi Reviews.
Spiritually Israeli. Excuse me, what? Whoa, 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 what is this? Japan's new right-wing majority bans public displays of Islam, halal production, and Muslim cemeteries, saying Japanese customs must come first. Would you support this if it happened here? Dude, this is based. Is this in English? Nope. Don't care then. But that is cool. CEO of Palantir. Oh man, I got something crazy to talk about Palantir.
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
What?
So that's my lower purpose.
Let me get myself out of the way and replay this.
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
That's terrorism. He supports terrorism.
That's my lower purpose.
Hassan would love this guy.
And
he probably does. Palantir, that sounds like a word that he would like.
Yeah, and others. But the higher purpose for me was to get this nation to be the preeminent power in the world, because whatever faults we have, they're nothing like anyone else's. You need a higher purpose.
So the interesting thing about that guy, I noticed this earlier. Discord is tied to Palantir, and it's really bad. So what about it?
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mudahar, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive into probably one of the most evil companies in the world. Now, in the last few days, I talked about Discord, that application that
This quality is really bad, and I love it.
I'm sure all of us
I love
use,
poor
right?
quality.
Especially the gamers. Now, you probably heard that Discord is doing a lot of that age verification. And the problem with the age verification is, who are you hiring to do such age verification? Well, in my last video, I actually talked a little bit about a company known as Persona.
Didn't they drop them?
The video game's actually awesome. But for anybody that doesn't know, Persona is actually a tool that Discord was using, at least in the United Kingdom, to verify its users' age. Now, Persona is a little application that you can view right here on their website with Persona.
Now, I've played Persona, and Persona has a lot to do with demons. And I'm sure there's some kind of a connection here.
.com, and basically it doesn't really, it's just your standard corporate website, right? But ultimately,
that's how they all are.
The ones
that's how they get you.
The big companies, one of the big companies involved in verifying if you're an adult or not. Now, whether they take your, personal ID, whether they take your selfie, a lot of that information sometimes doesn't actually leave their server. They might be storing it, they might be harvesting it, they might be using it. Now, depending on what they say, it's up to you to trust them or not. Now, me personally, I don't really trust any of these companies, and I don't think you should either. But in my last video, I looked at
I don't trust nobody, especially corporations
a
that I
company
don't
like
know.
Persona, and we kind of linked it to Peter Thiel.
How about
one
that?
of the big billionaires in the United States, one of the people tied
Hey, he's in the Epstein files quite a bit.
to a company known as Palantir. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what Palantir is, I want to start off this video by kind of front-loading it with that. Why? Because I think it's important to teach the average person what their country is doing, especially if you live in the United States, where Palantir is basically the de facto surveillance tool that the government is using to track all of the people around you, okay? It's crazy out there. It's wild. So let's go dive deep in to not just Discord, but Peter Thiel, Palantir, and the entire mass surveillance state. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, literally a few days ago, Discord decided to implement a global age verification policy where...
Yeah, I've got bad news for everybody. It's gonna get worse.
In March,
Buckle
they're
up.
going to be kind of putting every single one of us into a teen account. And while they say they have an AI model that can verify most people as adults, there's going to be cases where some individuals are going to have to be using age verification. Now, for a lot of people, they looked at one of the vendors, at least in the United Kingdom, was known as Persona. Now, Discord kind of responded to this, and I want to read their response. Again, I think it's important that we cover every side of this story. Discord's sitting over there going, hold on guys, some users in regions outside the UK and Australia may see age assurance prompts when accessing certain features or settings as part of ongoing experiments. Now, I don't know about you.
I talk a lot about Jesus and World War II and Romans, so I'm pretty sure that I'm clear for them not thinking that I'm a child.
You and me, but I at least like to be told if I'm part of an experiment. Who are you experimenting
I think
with?
I
Who are you
added an extra negative there that I didn't need, but you know what I meant.
sending this information to? Now, obviously, Discord, with all the obvious backlash, didn't decide to just cancel this, but at least, from what I'm reading, they've kind of pulled back their connection to Persona. Now, to give you an idea, Palantir Technologies has been
And I'm pretty sure they just decided to go with somebody worse.
around for quite a while. Since May 2003, when they were incorporated out in California, there were actually a few individuals behind here. Peter Thiel, obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, co-founded PayPal and is by far one of the richest investors in the world.
You know who else co-founded PayPal? Elon Musk.
Of course, you also have people like Alex Karp, who famously went on stage, I don't know, under the effects of cocaine or whatever, but he is an individual who became the CEO of this company and was probably one of the most paid CEOs at one point. And obviously, it's in his benefit that the government keeps buying his tools to spy on the average person. So when they first made Palantir, a lot of it was to fight back against PayPal's and sort of making a fraud detection system for PayPal. But the reality is the feds, specifically the FBI, ended up coming out to PayPal and said, listen, your technology is really awesome. Can we end up bringing it for financial crime detection or anything like that? So at that point, Peter Thiel jumps in and he's like, wait a minute, why just finance crimes? What about if we could maybe detect things like terrorist threats? And of course, remember, this is...
Why just pay for crimes? Why not just do them ourselves? That would save so much more money. Makes so much more sense.
Post 9/11. Remember, when the Twin Towers went down, you know, shit like the Patriot Act started getting passed. People were genuinely afraid of actual terrorism. People still to this day are afraid of actual terrorism. But back then, it was so scary that people were willing to give up actual rights just so they could feel a little bit safer. Let the government read into every single email you got.
My grandpa wasn't, man. He was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go move out into the sticks in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he did, and that's where I grew up.
Browse whatever they need, because hey, at the end of the day, if you're safe from whatever bin Laden's out there, then maybe ultimately it's a price worth paying. Obviously, we know now that when you throw the baby out with the bathwater, it ain't exactly a good deal, okay? We made a deal with the devil, and we're still paying for it to this day. So eventually, to give you an idea, a lot of people looked at this company and they were just like, I don't know about it, man. Like a lot of these VCs. There was one VC in particular, and we talked about it before on this channel, In-Q-Tel. Now, for anybody that doesn't remember In-Q-Tel, In-Q-Tel is a legitimate venture capitalist firm that is solely run by the Central Intelligence Agency. So yeah, the CIA themselves decided to invest around $2 million back in 2004, 2005. And obviously, this wasn't
So you're telling me that the CIA has a backdoor to steal everybody's information, and they say, okay, get this. Discord says that it gets deleted almost immediately. But I'm not fucking stupid. I know how fast technology is. That point in time between them receiving the information and it getting deleted can be stolen and copied. Like, take a snapshot. It's that easy, dude. It's like those voting machines. They're like, well, it happens instantly. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break.
The CIA investing in them. This was Washington. This was the US government putting their money into this organization. Now, eventually, what actually happened was a whole suite of software ended up being released. So, for instance, the first software of note was Palantir Gotham back in 2008, which basically was a flagship like defense and intelligence.
That's some Batman shit. You know? That's some crazy Arkham Asylum shit. Joker had control of the CIA, it sounds like.
Software. And of course, what it did
Sounds
was
about
something
right.
known as ontology, which basically transformed raw data that was provided from various
Sims.
sources into objects that would represent things like people, places, things, events, so on and so forth. And it would actually start mapping relations between them. So for instance, you could throw in like 100,000 points of data, and it would actually connect all of those points of data with each other depending on how relevant they were. It was crazy. It was awesome. It was what the government wanted. For instance, when it came to the FOIA, which was used to obtain LAPD manuals, it actually showed that Gotham allowed them to, the LAPD in particular, to search by like your name, race, gang membership, I mean, even down to your scars and various identities. They could basically identify anyone. A single individual could have been identified by any very...
Yep, CIA, they're just collecting data. I wonder what for. It isn't to, you know, overthrow a nation or anything. Probably not that.
amount of characteristics. And according to the FOIA documents, the LAPD...
Or keep a nation from being overthrown because they overthrew this nation. I mean, I didn't mean that.
had like 5,000 Palantir accounts. At that point, it was more than like half the LAPD police force. Now, Gotham is basically something that is run across all over the Department of Defense. So whether you're in the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, yeah, Palantir is basically like the bread and butter of these like intelligence agencies. Palantir is one of those companies that if you Google up right now, you probably wouldn't get a straight answer. Somebody actually has to dig through the trenches to tell you what they actually do. They are a mass surveillance company, and their actual utility spreads far and wide. And a lot of it is, in a way, very controversial to an extent. So, for instance, a lot of people probably know of somebody known as Edward Snowden, especially if you watch my channel. I've talked about Edward Snowden, especially in the context...
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Love Edward Snowden. Whenever he did that thing with Joe Rogan, it changed my life. Honestly, like that's when I really started getting into cybersecurity and keeping myself safe online and shitifying the information out there about myself. Just putting out, you know, little hints of wrong information. I like to do that. That's fun.
Of something known as PRISM, where a huge leak came out showing how far the government was in bed with a lot of big tech companies, where like it came out that, you know, the big tech companies were effectively backdooring themselves over to the US government. So for a lot of people, their personal information could just be grabbed at any moment without a warrant, without any form of, you know, without any form of legal protection that the people should have. And one of those things that, you know, Edward Snowden in particular showed was something known as X-Keyscore Helper, which was a Palantir tool that was allowing the NSA analysts at the time to import data from the X-Core, X-Keyscore, forensic system that they had, which collected things like your emails, your chats, your pictures, documents, so on and so forth. Basically,
why does this look like that what was it, that Halo social media thing that they used to have back in the Halo Reach days? What was that called? Halo Elite, maybe? Or was that Call of Duty Elite? Well, Call of Duty had one too. Same concept.
when it comes to mass surveillance and mapping out data across the world and spying on the citizens, Palantir is sort of the technical strength, the third-party company that everyone sort of hires when they want to spy on anybody out there. That is their job. That is their bread and butter. That's how they make their money. When it comes to predictive policing, you probably watch movies like Minority Report where they can decide if you're guilty, basically, or if you're a threat before you actually even commit crimes. And to an extent, that kind of exists in the real world, especially when it comes to things like Palantir's predictive policing systems, where again, even in secret arrangements back in 2012 all the way up to 2018, they were operating in areas like New Orleans. It was so secret that the city council members were actually unaware of the fact that there was actually a system that was analyzing their citizens. And of course, it was...
Yeah, you don't say. In New Orleans, that's why they choose these places like New Orleans. It's because they can easily get away with things because these places suck. Just look at the way they handled Hurricane Katrina. And this wasn't long after that. They're still cleaning up from that. And that shit happened like 22 years ago.
Analyze things like criminal history, social media, of course, obviously the gang affiliations that we learned that they were doing during their time and stint out with the LAPD. Probably still there to an extent. And they would even create a list because they could map out connections of people that could be potential victims and perpetrators. Like, you ever play the game Watch Dogs and you see how the CTOS can predict if somebody is going to be a victim or a possible crime is going to be happening? It's crazy to think that that was actually a reality. That actually is a thing that happened.
Yeah, we've gone past sci-fi
in the world, right? And again, you have to dig into the trenches. You really have to research Palantir to know this stuff is happening around you. Even when it comes to things like ICE, for instance. Now, a lot of people talk about immigrations and customs enforcement.
Yeah, they have some kind of weird, thing where they're allowed to use malware. Why? We should not be allowing the government to use malware. That sounds like very, very bad idea.
And, kicking all the illegals out of the country. Now, the thing about the illegal migrant situation, or whatever you want to get into, is it's a hotly debated political issue, but it's one of those things that's similar to 9/11 to me. And the reason I say this is because it's kind of a massive, tragedy. It's a massive political, it's a massive galvanizing force that a lot of the government, a lot of these private organizations are taking advantage of. Basically in the sense that Palantir exists to sell a surveillance product to the government, which in this case would be something that you probably have heard of as Immigration OS. In April 2025, ICE signed a $30 million no-bid contract for Immigration OS, which basically allowed Palantir, was actually something that was built on top of it. It's the Immigration Lifecycle Operating System. And it provides almost near-time visibility on the movements of migrant individuals, using, obviously, artificial intelligence and the various data points that Palantir is so good at mapping out. And alongside things like ELITE, which is the Enhanced Leads Identification and Targeting for Enforcement, it would basically...
And they just call it ELITE. Okay. Okay.
Map out the potential deportation targets. It would create dossiers. It would basically apply a confidence score.
They actually do think that they are better than everybody else. It's crazy.
To various addresses that ICE could hit and basically give a reasonable assessment that the address you're about to hit is probably going to be filled with illegals. Now, the reason why I was kind of tying this to 9/11 is that at the end of the day, regardless of what you think, Immigration OS is mass surveillance. It's predictive policing on the federal crack-enabled level, okay?
It should not be allowed to happen. This is just going to be another CIA situation all over again, just with a FBI situation, just with a different three-letter organization. Oh, we're getting rid of IRS, but we're just going to have something else that's going to be just as bad. That's how it works. We can never be perfect. I want to have an actual golden age, but we just can't have it because there's always got to be somebody wanting to make money, leeching off of some kind of system to make everybody else's lives worse.
Insane levels of mass surveillance that people are kind of looking at, thinking that, oh, they're just going to be using this to crack down on illegal migrants. Well, do you think if they're going to develop this technology that they're just going to massively forget about it like some point down the road? No. They're going to use it against the next target that the government wants to go against. And that could be somebody that is legally allowed in the United States. However, they might be somebody that is a political dissident, somebody that is speaking against the system. Right now, we are at a pivotal point that unless you speak against this shit, and if you let it happen, this is the reason why I've been talking so much about age verification, your privacies, things like self-hosting. It's not because that in a year from now I'm going to be living on a farm in complete, solitude from general public. I don't know, maybe.
That's my plan, literally, right now. That's what we're working on.
No idea. I can't predict the future. Maybe Palantir can, but the idea of it is that if you don't fight against it now...
You see the hat? The hat makes it official. I found this hat. I think it's a woman's hat. I don't care. It's got this little bead thing that is usually an indicator that it's a woman's hat. Sometimes it's not. Once again, I don't care. It's a cool hat, and it's comfortable, and it's wool, and I like it.
If you don't raise awareness to it now, the world will look very different in the next 5, maybe 10 years. And in the next 10 years, we might be living in that cyberpunk dystopia where getting spied on and having an opinion is something that actually is going to be treated pretty illegally. It's going to be where
it already is in some places.
You might not really be allowed to speak your mind because maybe there are...
Yeah, it's like that in the UK and in a lot of Muslim countries. Good thing for the Muslims, though, they all kind of think alike. They're kind of forced to, and they, it's kind of fall in line because it's part of their religion.
Powers that be that don't want you to speak your mind, and they don't want you to rise up and step against the grain. Now, there's something about Peter Thiel that is super interesting to me. Back in October, September, literally in 2025, not that long ago, literally a few months, you might have looked up that Peter Thiel was hosting these like 4-part lectures in San Francisco talking about the Antichrist. Now,
I did see that.
Context, Peter Thiel wasn't talking about the Christian idea of an Antichrist. I think
somebody else talked about that. I did a video on it. I did a reaction probably like a year or two ago. Something like that.
Might fit more into that, if anything. But to give you an idea...
it was totally Oompaville. That's who it was.
Thiel was talking about the Antichrist being like a Luddite who literally didn't care about understanding... Somebody that wanted to stop all forms of science. So people like Eliezer Yudkowsky, who literally is an AI safety advocate for crying out loud, right? Basically anybody that can... talk about raising regulations or awareness in the dangerous spaces that he operates, he doesn't like it. Because if you get in front of Peter Thiel and his money, not even just his money, if you get in front of him and his power, he's going to go fucking batshit insane. This slimy scumbag piece of shit will find everything that he can to convince people in Washington to buy his shitty products and give up your freedoms if it means a slightly higher net worth and slightly more power. So again, I want you to understand, this is who the current government has decided to partner with. A fucking nutjob, batshit insane, authoritarian fuck. That's who. Now,
yeah, this is why I don't vote. And this is why it's real funny whenever people say that I'm pro-Trump, that I'm MAGA, whenever I disagree with crazy leftists, because crazy leftists are fucking insane. But I also think that people who are 1000% pro MAGA, I almost said never Trumpers, always Trumpers, those people are just as insane to me. I don't get it. They're just a different breed of authoritarian retards.
To give you an idea, I don't want to walk into this video and not paint Peter Thiel as the scumbag he is without any evidence to back it up. Obviously, I think there's plenty out there, but really one of the most important pieces of evidence that I think kind of exists is the fact that he is a really, really close friend with guys like, Jeffrey Epstein, for instance. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, literally a couple weeks ago, there was a massive disclosure release, like 5 million documents, that released about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm still making videos on it. There's still things in the pipeline. I've made plenty of videos covering it because there's just so much information. But more specifically, there actually is around 2,281 files that exist showing emails
That's too
and
many.
conversations between Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein. Mentions in the files alone with Peter Thiel. So he is by far one of the most mentioned guys in the archive.
I wonder how many times they got pizza together.
Now, to give you an idea, the relationship began somewhere around 2014, long after Epstein's actual conviction. So Peter Thiel, given the fact that he knows pretty much everything about everyone, should have actually known the kind of person that he was getting friendly with. So there was at least half a dozen scheduled meetings between people like Peter Thiel and Epstein from 2014 all the way to 2016. And a lot of them actually at Epstein's like New York townhouse. And again, you can verify and look these up yourself in the Epstein files. Heck, I can show you a few emails on the screen right now. They were actually quite buddy-buddy. Peter Thiel took great
Would you like to visit the island? If so, what days? Okay.
great judgment. Now, the important part about this is Epstein is kind of tertiarily related to this entire situation because even he invested $40 million into Valor Ventures.
It's all connected. It's everyone. It's all of them.
A fund managed and originally co-founded by people like Peter Thiel back in 2015 and 2016.
Name a big company. Name a thing that you like. It's them. It's all of them. It's these platforms that we're on right now. Well, maybe not Rumble, but definitely YouTube and Odyssey and Kick.
Now, that investment that Epstein made actually grew to around $170 million, making it effectively one of the largest assets at the time in Epstein's estate. And of course, people like Ehud Barak, who was the former prime minister of Israel, no doubt, was also describing that fund at the time as co-founded by both Thiel and Epstein. So they were not just monetarily related, but it seemed like they were actually pretty good friends. And even though Thiel's spokespeople will say that there's no co-ownership, they still confirm that Epstein was a limited partner in this case. Again, I think there needs to be an investigation in this right here, okay? Because, I don't know, I think there's probably a lot more than money. These people seemed very buddy-buddy with each other, and I want to know the extent of that relationship. Because if this scumbag is allowed to know everything about me, I think we should know everything about him, too. It's only fair.
I think it's going to happen, by the way. I think there's going to be a time where everybody's going to know everything about everybody, and you won't be able to hide. And I think a lot of the evil people just won't care. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. You have no idea.
Now, again, I don't want to sit there and say that, Thiel is a criminal because he's so...
You don't think that the world could actually burn? Because it's going to fucking happen. The world is going to burn sooner or later. Something's going to fucking give.
Associated, but I think it's worth the investigation. And I think if the government had any fucking testicles, they would pursue some investigation on pretty much anybody associated with Epstein.
I don't think that it really is like government is over here. Criminals are over here doing criminal stuff. Government, go after them. It's like everything is all twisted up and you got to untwist it. And there's just no untwisting it. The more you try to work it out, the more knots you get. It's like a fucking old pair of earbuds. I work really hard to keep this one from twisting, but once they're twisted, it's fucked.
At the time. But importantly, it was this company, these venture firms that were connected to, companies like Persona. So it makes you kind of wonder, right? Like Persona, the actual tool, the experiment that was used by Discord, it is connected to people like Peter Thiel monetarily. Why is somebody like Peter Thiel, who believes that he knows better than you, believes that democracy and freedom are no longer viable products to be sold to the American people, why is he investing money into an age verification system that coincidentally grabs selfies, grabs a ton of identification off people, and promises that they'll delete it. I mean, promises are promises.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what's going on in those?
I think it probably is getting deleted. Exactly how they say and when they say it. But they have no say for somebody like the CIA or some other hacker group to come in, somebody smarter than them, that tricked them into doing it, possibly. Who knows? Or maybe they're just like worked their disgusting web, which is also likely. Probably all of the above. That's all it takes, man.
Servers. Last I checked with Discord, last time they tried grabbing people's IDs, it ended up getting leaked out to the public to grab. Peter Thiel is one of the richest guys in the world.
Yeah, somebody's just gonna get in between the time where it is created and the time it's deleted.
And he's somebody that craves
Instant.
power.
It'll be
he's
instant.
somebody that knows how to obtain that power. He's somebody that knows that whoever controls the surveillance game is somebody that's going to be around for the long term, because surveillance is one of those products that is always, always in demand by the government. And Discord is actually just a small piece of this puzzle. Remember, Discord is the most normie used communications platform out there. It's not just gamers that use it, everyone uses Discord. And I think with what happened...
I would totally use Discord more. It's just kind of... It's unlike any other app that I use in the way it works and the way it looks, so I don't like it. If I had other apps that worked in similar ways as Discord, and I could get into that kind of ecosystem, I'd probably like it more. I can't do it, man. I'm gonna try out TeamSpeak and see how I like that, but I don't think that I can get enough people over there. But maybe I can get like a core group of people to jump over to TeamSpeak. Who knows?
With Discord
I'm
the
gonna
last
try.
few days, I think the best thing to happen from it is this
I installed TeamSpeak.
discussion. That we know that these age assurance platforms are not only dangerous for you when it comes to your personal privacy, but also when you start to look at where they're getting their money from, and it's all these mass surveillance organizations, maybe it's time we reassess this shit and we stop allowing these companies to operate in the fields that they are. Because look, ultimately it's up to you to decide if this is a fight worth having. I personally believe it is, but really, I make these videos to try and wake up the average person. And I hope, since we're nearing the end of the video, you're
I don't use Discord really anyway. I think I'm just going to completely get rid of it.
kind of waking up a little bit and realizing that this shit ain't normal, man. I think ultimately the end of it, people like Peter Thiel should stay far away.
This is only the beginning, by the way. What are you going to do when it's forced upon all of us that you have to do it? Anytime you use any kind of service like this online where you can message other people, you have to have an ID, and it has to be completely, all of it logged. You don't have any privacy. You have fake privacy between you and another person, but also you have some kind of government entity or anybody else who's smarter than a government entity able to just look in there anytime they want for any reason.
Away from our personal identification, from our government, from the ability to regulate what we can and cannot do. I think it's insane that we're at a point where we need to honestly be talking about it. You know, years ago, I'd be playing stupid video games on this channel. Years ago, I'd be looking at stupid 4chan mysteries. I'd be looking at things like Club Penguin servers run by derelict idiots on the internet. I'd be looking at things like, you know, Alex from Tennessee all over 4chan. But there is something genuinely scarier than all of that. And it's the power these people are actually gaining at an alarming rate. Look, I think the internet is one of those things that's the last bastion of real human connection and real human freedom. We don't really have freedom anymore, regardless of where you live, right? Like, you're always being watched, you're always being spied on.
Yep.
Shit's getting way more expensive every single fucking day of our lives.
We're really working on going off grid. We're still gonna have like internet and stuff, so we're still getting tracked, unfortunately. But eventually, we're gonna work our way off grid if we can. We'll go to the middle of a desert in some other country. We don't give a fuck, man. We're not exactly tied to the United States because we're not tied to this world. That's the thing about Christians.
And it sometimes seems like the next day is becoming an uncertainty. And it's difficult not to stop doom scrolling. I mean, it's all around us. Doom and gloom is everywhere. And it's one of those things where the internet and the last way for us to truly be free, truly live in a digital space even, where we can communicate to somebody from all across the world. You know, when I look at communities on the internet, when I look at the world for what it is, I think, I don't joke when I say the last bastion of real freedom is the internet. You know, it's the last place that we can actually anonymously talk. You know, when I
Well, other than, you know, like backyard in the middle of the woods.
when I did dark web browsing every single Sunday years ago, you know, before I found every single dark web website visiting, yeah, there was a lot of fucked up stuff that came from anonymity, but there was a lot of communities that came around talking about stupid, goofy shit. People who could genuinely voice an opinion and talk about what was on their mind.
By the way, the dark web, there's going to be a way for people to get around all of the nonsense censorship that the government's doing, but it's going to be like an underground thing that not very many people are really going to even bother with. But there are going to be some people, because right now the dark web is still a thing, and it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper all the time.
Without feeling like Big Brother was watching them, without feeling like some government entity knew every single thing about them, and eventually the hammer would come down and they would just be disappeared. I feel like that's a fleeting memory, because for people like Peter Thiel, it's not about just
I think we got just a few more years until the internet is completely overrun with just all kinds of shit where it is just unusable. Literally unusable. Like you can try, but it's just going to be like a mess. It's noise, and nothing that is going to electronically connect to the internet is going to work correctly, even though it doesn't require internet. If it connects the internet, it will mess it up. That is the future that we can look forward to. Because I think that the more we go with this AI stuff, the more enshittified everything's going to be, and you're going to have networks like Cyberpunk, you know? Where it's just services. There's not really an internet service that you can use. There kind of is, but there's only specific things that you can do on it.
unmasking every single human person on the internet.
Everybody else is locked out because the original internet has a wall, and you're inside of the original internet, inside this wall, keeping the original internet out because it's just riddled with rogue AI and trash evil programs.
It's about invoking a level of fear into the discussions that we're allowed to have. The government wants to dox every single person on the internet. They want to monitor every single bit of communication that we have.
For whatever purposes. They probably are going to try and clone us. Get rid of us and clone us and have us be exactly how they want us to be.
Because I think ever since the internet was created, the powers that govern us realized how scary of a technology it is, right? Letting people share information unfettered.
Yeah, and a lot of people were doing some crazy shit, and then the internet came out of nowhere and exposed everything. I think we're just now getting to the point where things are being exposed because people, it's all documented, and now people are all on the internet, so everybody's looking everywhere, and it's getting real bad. And they're working their hardest, they're doing their best to clamp down on everything, but it's kind of working, but not really. What's going to happen is everything's just going to be destroyed. Because they'd rather everything be destroyed than themselves be destroyed.
Letting people communicate with each other unfettered. Letting people talk to each other unfettered. You know, there's a reason I use a lot of self-hosted technologies, and I talk a lot about end-to-end encryption. Hell, I even showed you guys how to use PGP encryption to share messages back and forth across normie communication channels. Because I think you have a right to privacy, and I think people have a right to talk to each other. People have a right to share information without being surveilled, without being monitored, without feeling scared to speak what's on their mind. There's a lot of places in the world where you can't speak what's on your mind.
I'm not scared to speak what's on my mind, even if there was somebody coming after me. Go fuck yourself. Be afraid of me.
Look at what's happening in Iran, for instance, right now. That, to an extent, could start happening in places like the United States. They could dox every single person out there, and it means speaking against the government becomes a near impossible thing to do. We shouldn't tolerate that, and we shouldn't let it happen. And we shouldn't be allowed.
But who's going to do anything about it? Because, like, I'm not able to actually do anything. Nobody's going to listen. Nobody actually knows how technology works. Even people who know technology, they're not going to do anything. Like a Linus Tech Tips type person and anybody else like him, they're not going to do anything. The most anybody's going to do is somebody like Gamers Nexus are going to go document it. But that's not really anything that you could do. El Mujahid or Mujahid, I don't know how to say that. The L throws me off. Is it okay? What's up? We're talking about dystopia. The end of the world.
And people like Peter Thiel and Alex Karp to be the arbiters of what we're allowed to do on the internet and control our discussions. And ultimately harvest all of our data and do God knows what with it, you know? That's...
No, bro, the AI deleted your thing. Oh, man. I can see it. I know what you said.
all I have to say. But
I can't say that either, though.
I'm sure I've been yapping longer than you probably wanted to listen.
He says, I am the ender of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. The AI bot took him out. That had nothing to do with me.
But keep what I said, especially in the last 5 minutes of this video, as some food for thought. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'm out.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Let's go back to X, see what's going on here. Yeah, I saw stuff about that. Okay, well. What is this? Hold on, what? There's no way this is real. I have the best, me. You have the best stream I've come across so far. Well, thanks, man. I've been doing this for a while. I try. No, I don't. I'm not trying at all. I just kind of threw it together, and I'm just chilling.
I say to you,
watching the end of the world.
Do not cower. Do not bend. Do not bow your head. Fight back. Because people respect those who respect themselves. And the minorities that fought back, whether it's the blacks or the gays or women, they fought back. And what we have to do as Jews, both here in Israel and in the various Jewish communities around the world, beginning with the United States, is to fight back. Silence will not help. Looking askance will not help. Fight back. That's what I tell you. That's what I tell young Jewish students that I meet. I'm very proud of them when I meet. I say to you,
I think we're about to have some race wars, ladies and gentlemen. They can have it. I'm going to go move out into the woods and just kind of hear about it on the news. That's probably what most people are going to do. You're just going to hear about people fighting. I don't want to do anything with children. It makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather just hear about it. Bunch of stuff I don't care about, man. What? Okay, so what is this? What is happening here? American pilots reportedly arrested for refusing to fly weapons to Israel, saying they believe genocide is taking place and Trump is complicit. There is an awakening happening in the West. Do you know about Pegasus, the Israeli spyware that have infected almost every phone in the world? I have heard about that. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I don't do anything on my phone, and I don't do anything in real life. So all they're really going to do is extract my data and see what I'm saying, make sure I don't say anything crazy.
Genocide! You're complicit in a genocide! Eddie, there's a genocide! Eddie! Eddie, there's a genocide! Come on, Eddie! There's a genocide! You're complicit in genocide of the Palestinian people! You are complicit! Come on, Eddie!
You know?
Eddie, help us! Eddie, help us save them! Come on, Eddie!
I don't know how I feel about this, actually. Because these people are insane, but I also don't like Israel. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
The Israeli terrorists are committing a
It's just an unfortunate situation, you know? High-profile people should be worried, not the ordinary man, but they do collect information about public opinion. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they try and it's not even like they're trying to squash public opinion. They try and manipulate it, you know? And only allow certain things to be said. And anybody who says the wrong thing, you're allowed to say it, but you're going to be ridiculed, and you're not going to be allowed on left-leaning platforms.
genocide, and the U.S. Congress and Senate are complicit in funding the bombs that are forcing children to be slaughtered and massacred. Shame on this government. The United States of America is complicit in genocide. The Israeli terrorists are forced.
I mean, once again, like, sucks to suck, I guess. Breaking: Department of Homeland Security has sent legal requests to Google, Reddit, Meta, and Discord seeking the names, email addresses, phone numbers, and other identifying information of users who track and criticize ICE. That doesn't sound good at all. That sounds like what I was talking about earlier. Don't care about the time traveler stuff. I already talked about that. I lost my train of thought because of that last video. Damn. Do you know about Tucker Carlson? I mean, I know who Tucker Carlson is, and I know that he is pretty much bought and, you know, pretty much anybody who's rich who talks about the media, they're bought by somebody. What was this guy? Kind of looks like JD DeLay. Meathead, UFC fighter, biker type.
So, I accidentally just got the Skippy video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please, I'm begging you. I'm telling you right now, don't go look it up, okay?
What?
It was sent to me by someone who had good intentions, and they wanted me to call it out on my platforms because I have such a huge following on my Instagram.
I hope he talks about it. If not, I'm going to ask Grok about it. I ain't looking it up.
This message is for President Trump. It's not. Earlier today, P.S. Trump, fuck you. I'm gonna say that. Earlier today, you said it's time for us to move on from these Epstein files. The fuck are you?
Oh, I got something to talk about the Epstein files and Trump here in a minute. Oh boy. Hey. Yeah, don't do that. You're gonna get me a copyright strike, man. It was an alarm I had
You
set.
talking about who's been arrested? Who's been arrested? There are people currently right now, like the Skippy, who is in the government. And if you can watch that video and hear that child,
I'm not gonna do
say
that.
we need to move on. You are worthless in my eyes until you do something. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece.
He was fired from Fox News for speaking the truth, and he started his own podcast exposing the Israeli influence on American politicians, talking about Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I heard about that. I knew about that. I covered Tucker Carlson. I mean, he's definitely like, I'd say that I don't like him. But I don't say he's really a bad guy, you know? But I don't know. I don't know the guy really in person, so I wouldn't be able to tell. He's kind of dumb. Like, IRL dumb. In a way that I wouldn't be able to hang out with him. Especially the thing where he doesn't like screens. That's weird.
Piece of shit. We need to burn this motherfucker to the ground until every single person that was involved in this, my guys, I know my platform isn't political, but goddamn, I feel like at this point, if you're not saying anything, you're complicit. Like, you're okay with what happened to these women, these children, these young boys, these men. And it was done by the highest powers in government. It was done by the most powerful people that are supposed to protect. I'm begging you, don't go listen to...
Well, I mean, we've been saying this for so long. Like, I don't even... It's bittersweet, you know? Because people are coming around. But we could have done something about this shit a long time ago. If only people would have listened instead of saying we were fucking crazy.
The video, I'll never forget it. I turned it off as soon as I kind of got an idea what I was...
Okay, let me know what this is, Grok. Self-described MAGA influencer ranting in his car about the horrific Skippy video from Epstein files and cursing Trump for urging to move on without arrest, demanding... Okay, the Skippy video is an unverified viral clip from 2016 Pizzagate conspiracies, falsely linked to John Podesta and resurfaced amid 2023 Epstein document releases. Fact checks confirm no evidence. Okay, well, there is evidence. You mean no proof. Marking it as disinformation. Replies reveal divided reaction, with some viewing the rant as genuine cult disillusionment and others as redirected anger to sustain MAGA narratives, amplifying the post 10,000 plus. Okay. Well, so, no comment. Moving on. I don't care about Destiny getting swatted. That sucks. I don't want to talk about it. Hey, there's that picture again. Yeah, I knew about the Amazon book thing. Thomas Massey recently made Attorney General Pam Bondi look like a fool about the Epstein files. Yeah, I made a reaction video on that, actually. Oh, what was I looking for, man? Did I share it? Did I share it? I think I shared the thing I'm looking for. This is crazy. Former President Obama confirmed aliens are real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not
How do you
being
know,
kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Oh,
what was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Yeah, he's bullshitting. He's joking around. This isn't a real thing. I don't even know who that guy is. Asmongold calls for the release of the Pikachu files.
Does this mean Pokemon Go can do their own Epstein files of all the accounts that interacted with this Pokestop? So we could actually go and say anybody who's interacted with these Pokemon Go Pokestop on Little St. James Island. I mean, these are the people that were on the island, right? I mean, absolutely. We've had the Epstein files. Now we need the Pikachu files.
And don't they ping devices around them too and get information about that? So would you be able to get other device information? Like, there's no way that's not a thing. This is it. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is a lie. The DOJ simply released a statement with a list full of names associated with Epstein in the files. There hasn't been a single new file released since the batch in late January 2026, which still includes heavy redactions. 3+ million files are still unreleased. I don't get that. Well, I don't know then. I'm gonna skip that one then. Until I've got more information on that, because that one was a crazy one. I don't like to put misinformation out in the world if I think that something's bullshit. All right, fine, I'll watch it, but just take this with a grain of salt.
This is real Satanism, as congressmen have been coming out that have seen this stuff and it's coming out. They're like, this is pure on Satanism. This is real, folks. And remember in the 80s it came out, all the human sacrifice of Satanism. They called it the,
even on Oprah's show,
satanic scare, the hysteria. It was real. And I interviewed Ted
Satanic
Gunderson, who was the head of the FBI in LA, who they wanted to be the FBI director. And he basically quit to expose all this. And he told me all this stuff. He told me,
I've seen his work.
He told me that they starve babies for like a couple days so that the men can then put their, you know what, in their mouth, and the baby sucks for dear life. That's in the emails. Epstein with
What
university.
the fuck? I wish I had never heard that. I didn't even. I couldn't have even imagined that was a fucking thing. Holy shit!
Psychologist and behavioral psychologist, and saying, I know you starve babies so they suck better. If you record their mother's voice, they'll suck harder.
This is not the video that I thought it was. Oh, all right.
Wow. So they've got tips on
Sick
when you're
bastards.
raping the baby, you're starving, and then doing this, you know. The
We
baby.
might have to cut off
Let's
YouTube.
go Rumble.
huh?
Yeah,
Let's cut YouTube.
it's Rumble time. Yeah.
Yeah.
My point is that
we'll cut YouTube.
Yeah, fuck YouTube.
Come
on over, guys, to
This
Rumble.
is America. This is the files. This is the reality.
Yeah.
I'm staying on YouTube. I ain't cutting it. YouTube's gonna have to pull me.
I'm sorry. This is what Satan is
No,
doing.
no. This is what it is, and this is what's in the files, and this is what they've been doing for a long time. And there's a reason why they've been holding these files back for so long. And
we forced it because of the crisis. Follow me on Real Alex Jones on X and our backup HAN Live for the new network. They're trying to shut me down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry this is so horrible. I'm sorry. With the new emails today, Woody Allen, how to eat bodies, how to grind the bones, how to get great fiber out of the bones. Yeah, Woody Allen, him talking about how they're gonna have great shits
Woody
of eating
Allen.
people.
Oh, dude, didn't he like marry his daughter?
We got how to deliver the meat, how to deliver the adrenochrome. It's all in there.
Disgusting. It makes me wish that I would have just moved into the woods a long time ago and just got to skip all this, not hear about it, just pretend that nothing like this is ever happening. Whoa, what is this? Radio stations are playing Epstein research in song form. The revolution will not be televised, but it's still being broadcasted to wake up millions of citizens. What a wild timeline to be born in. What is happening?
So something happened this morning, and I just need to, this is a moment in life that you probably want to pay attention to, because this could be happening at your local radio station and everything else. So just listen to what just happened.
Secret, where Epstein told young women I work for the owner. That was the recruitment line. Victims testified to it, and Wexner later claimed Epstein stole $46 million and never called the police, because that's what billionaires do when someone steals from nothing. Epstein funded a modeling agency through John.
Is this AI?
MC2 model management offices in New York, Miami, and Tel Aviv. Brunel brought girls from Eastern Europe and South America on promises
Kind of a banger.
some as young as 12. Virginia Gifford testified Epstein told her he'd slept with over 1,000 women. Brunel brought in. Brunel left messages at Epstein's Palm Beach house saying he just did a good one. 18 years.
Whose daughter would move to New York and partner with Epstein the same year.
This isn't real. But that's funny. Oh, is this Isaac Cappy?
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks
You
either,
don't say.
who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. Look into the
Oh, what?
Rothschild family. Do some
Rothschilds?
research. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism.
And they're basically the ones who started the United States back in the 1800s. Like what we know of it as today.
That's, you know, the higher you go, the more sick it gets. The royal family, yeah. Jimmy Savile raped and murdered hundreds of kids over the course of
Oh, I'm definitely getting demonetized. Oh boy.
3 decades or longer. No one ever looked into it. And he hung out with the royal family. He was knighted. Look into Marina Abramovich. If you're just getting started with this stuff, look into Marina Abramovich. Do some research. I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. The name of the game is blackmail. So they want something on you that they can hold over your head so they can basically own you and tell you what to do. And they film it.
Yeah, that Abramovich lady guy, I don't know, lady, does satanic rituals and weird shit. Anything fun and interesting? Okay. Moving back to YouTube then. Live stream view botting is completely out of control. Sure.
Kick has a massive botting problem. Even the CEO himself admits that most of the Kick partners.
Even I'm having a botting problem, and it's just bots that are in the fucking chat trying to advertise me to get more bots.
Program is botting, which is a crazy statement to make as the CEO.
If we banned every single person who view botted from the KPP program, the reality is there wouldn't be many people left.
So, I mean, you know, when the CEO is shamelessly admitting it, you know it's bad. But this has been a topic of conversation for years now. Like, people have been calling Trainwrecks the boy who cried view botter since at least 2023.
Trainwrecks was right. He was telling us and we didn't listen. All the streamers are view botting and nobody listened to him. Everyone was like, he's schizo, he's crazy. He was right.
But now it finally seems like he's being vindicated on both sides of the coin, with the issue reaching further than just live viewers. It's now infecting Clippers as well.
Don't Clippers just bot their clips to get fake view numbers to make more money?
Is that how people are getting views? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time? Is that why I'm sitting at 0? Not really. I'm not sitting at 0. But is that why I'm getting so little views, especially now, is because everybody's just view potting? Should I start doing that? Is that how you get up in this world? Is that how you get discovered?
We got botting problems everywhere, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, botting problems are not mutually exclusive to Kick. It's not mutually exclusive to live streaming. Like, botting is everywhere. That's the reality.
But view botting has been a hot.
How do I get them without paying for them? Somebody should totally. I would totally be cool if somebody botted me.
An issue on streaming sites for years now, even if viewers haven't always been buying it, nor are streamers really fessing up to it.
All the stuff that I'm learning, that I'm seeing, it's beginning to make sense low key, right? If I'm sitting at 30 to 35 and all my social medias and everything like matches up with that, my chatters, the activations, you know, merch sales, this and that, right? The numbers match up to that, but everyone else, you know, it doesn't, then I'm beginning to understand the petty drama, because they're telling themselves, I'm not a 35K viewer streamer. You know, I'm probably doing this weird shit. I'm really a 20K. This a 35. I hate him. And that's how the petty shit starts.
The devs that I work with, right, they've calculated some of these view bots that we encounter have to cost between 10 to 20,000 a week. Like, we're talking like fully automated. IPs are completely spread, right?
When it comes to the topic of view botting, it's starting to become a problem everywhere, and it feels kind of safe to say that no one is actually planning on doing anything about it. If anything, streamers seem to not really care if they get caught these days.
Bro, I'll just say this, guys, I don't give a bro. If you think view bot, listen, you think some people, guys, everybody's inflated. Like I openly admit it.
I'm not.
Every single person, I would say 90% of streamers inflate, guys. Okay, we're not. Whatever.
Damn it! I am doing it wrong. Well, here we go. I'll try it organically, but I don't think it's gonna work. I'm just gonna constantly be 3 to 10 forever.
Like, that's crazy. But what happened?
But this is a hobby. I do this for the love of the fucking game. I do this for 0 viewers.
when the people who start paying creators based off of their viewership start to become wise enough to acknowledge the scheme. And how can anyone be sure that it's not the streamer viewbotting themselves or someone else paying to make them look like they're viewbotting? I mean, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, was it the streamer's fault? Like, honestly, it's kind of hard to definitively know who to place the blame on here. Because today, essentially, I just want to look into the accusations, old and new, and figure out if live streaming really does have a viewbotting problem. Because it kind of
I have a viewbotting problem. The fact that there aren't any
seems like it does. Because as I stated earlier, even the Kick CEO seems to think so.
We know that in live streaming, there is a lot of viewbotting. That's the
I
reality.
wouldn't know that.
If we banned every single person
I don't know
who
why I'm on
viewbotted
this.
from the KPP program, the reality is there wouldn't be many people left. That's the reality. It's the harsh reality. It's not just a problem isolated to Kick. It's a problem with all social media.
Now, the clip that probably made the most headlines and prompted me to look into this, of course, is the clip of the CEO from Kick, Eddie, admitting that most of the Kick partner program view bots live on their Kick channel. And this happened during an episode of Kick Talk, which is a podcast hosted by Ed Craven, or Eddie, and the head of Kick Studios, who's Andrew Santa Maria. And in these podcasts, they often feature controversial streamers like Ice Poseidon, Action Man, and Fuzi, and the episodes usually just consist of them bringing up the same talking points about the future of streaming. And I wonder if they were anticipating the future was being filled with botted chatters and falsely inflated viewer counts. Well, I guess for all but one lone angel, who they praised on the same episode as one of the few people out there who doesn't touch view bots at all. And apparently, that's Sneako.
We were talking about bots before. I think just a big shout out to Sneako. I think
How?
Sneako is one of the few people out there doesn't touch any bots at all. I said this the other day, right, Sneako? I was like, I won't ever say someone is using view bots, but I will say when someone isn't using view bots. Like Sneako is not. He's legit. Like you haven't fallen to the temptation of increasing
they haven't met me yet.
your metrics, and I respect that, man. I really do.
And now, I'm not saying that Sneako's the only big creator who doesn't viewbot, but he might be one of the only big creators who aren't viewbotting on Kick. Because I promise you, there are tons of other creators who are not viewbotting.
I'm the biggest creator that has 0 viewers
whatsoever. They're just not streaming on Kick. For example, I would bet like 10 grand that Moist Critical does not viewbot. But obviously, creators like him don't stream on Kick, so he's kind of irrelevant to this conversation that we're currently talking about. But prior to bringing up Sneako on the podcast, they were discussing how the current landscape is and how they combat viewbotters. And this is where Eddie makes this bold statement of, if we banned every single person from botting in the KPP program, the reality is there wouldn't be many people left, which is crazy. And which also goes to show that Kick seems to be this like den of thieves for some reason. There is no honor amongst Kick streamers for some reason.
You should have thousands, but people don't want to get hit in the face with the truth. Yeah, I also insult people a lot, so that kind of doesn't help.
Unfortunately for Kick, it just has a reputation of absolute degeneracy. So degenerates
It
just
doesn't help that I don't pander to the right or the left. I don't really have a side. I'm politically homeless because I don't like politics. I enjoy watching people fight about politics, but politics piss me off, man.
congregate on Kick.com. And they also briefly touched on the Kick clipping program, which pays clippers based on views and how people are apparently viewbotting those as well.
So here's another question, like to follow up on the clipping stuff. Don't clippers just bot their clips to get fake view numbers?
But yeah, I think there's definitely botting problems on, like I said before, right? We were talking about this before, but botting is on every platform.
I guess there's an arbitrage there. So they're getting paid more per view than what they have to pay a viewbotter to viewbot them. So again, a whole den of thieves. So I guess it's just fake viewers to wring out every last dollar from the site all the way down. And again, not a great look. It's sort of confirmation of everything people have ever been alleging for years, coming straight from the horse's mouth. And even though, I mean, Trainwrecks, heavily was involved in the promotion and launch of Kick as well. I mean, his Wikipedia even lists him as a part owner of Kick. So one would think that he would have, enough insider information to be able to accurately call this out.
One of the biggest things I was confused about when I was doing my streams.
Why does this dude look like he came straight out the Planet of the Apes?
Wondering, like, why the are like streamers that are bigger than me or my size like so worried about me, right? And we're not talking about the justified worrying about this and that, what content he's doing. We're talking about just like the petty bull and all the stuff that I'm learning, that I'm seeing. It's beginning to make sense.
Okay, well, I think that it's a thing. I think he knows.
low key.
Well, now, after numerous botting scandals, multiple large streamers making their own speculations, and Eddie coming right out and saying people are starting to realize that they have been a little bit too quick to dismiss these claims.
Trainwreck was right. He was telling us, and we didn't
Well, I can see why she's famous.
listen.
She's got a really cool room.
He's been saying this for years. All the streamers are view botting, and nobody listened to him. Everyone was like, he's schizo,
You think she has to view bot?
he's crazy. He was right. Everyone is view botting. I mean, like, I knew it was an issue. I knew some people bought it, right? I knew there were botting services, and I thought maybe like 20% of streamers bought, maybe 10%, but no.
But there is an important note to make when it comes.
I don't know who that was, but her voice was annoying the shit out of me. It was just at the wrong frequency. She has a huge pair of something. Yeah, headphones.
To view botting, because it can be the creator themselves paying to boost their own numbers and push them, you know, higher up in the directory, because at least before on both Kick and Twitch, the way to be discovered is to have a high view count, because then you kind of get front paged. Now they're starting to do some sort of recommendation system, but historically, the more views you have, the easier it is to get recognized or to be discovered by a new viewer. People also have this like default bias where if they see that this streamer has like 20,000 viewers, they're like, oh, 20,000 people are enjoying this. Let me check out this. So that's unfortunately how the industry is. So while
and a lot of people don't want to jump in a stream like mine, and that's what keeps me suppressed, because they don't want to just hang out with me. A lot of people want to be part of a crowd that's like watching a movie, kind of, but you're also interacting with a movie. That's a lot of what it is.
There's a lot of things that incentivize people to viewbot. There's always that possibility that someone else is viewbotting them in hopes of getting them either flagged or banned, or at the very least disliked by their own community and the general public. Because if your fans think that you're viewbotting and you can't really
or
prove,
it's people that are doing or think they're doing a good thing, that are like, this person that I'm a fan of deserves to be more famous and have more power,
that you're not, it just kind of comes down to trust, which, you know, is hard to build in the generation of generative AI and performative morality.
So you know, you are aware of everybody who is and isn't botting. I did want to talk about, maybe we could speak on this more in the future.
No, obviously, yeah, Kick like has the ability, like that's how KPP works, right? KPP pays out on legitimate viewership, right? Obviously the platform kind of knows, but again, we don't know who's botting Q, right? Like at the end of the day, like, you know, somebody else could be botting someone else. Like there is a lot of that.
Yeah, they can keep track of who the real people are on the platform. And a lot of the real people get counted as bots whenever it comes to getting paid anyway. Not everybody counts.
Going on, right? But you know, it's a tough one. But yeah, we definitely know when people aren't botting, that's for sure.
But genuinely though, a telltale sign of someone viewbotting is their chat not lining up with the sheer volume of people that are supposed to be watching. See, you know, most bots watch, but if you have thousands of viewers and the chat is kind of standing still, it sort of becomes obvious that they aren't real people. But that's when you have...
I see a lot of smaller people. They'll have like 500 viewers, but they'll have like 10 people in the chat. And it just... Casey Tron is a good example. Just very suspicious.
More advanced botting services that also spam out the chat, so you have chatting bots as well. So again, people who bot unfortunately find workarounds, and that's why it's so hard to catch. It's a big cat and mouse problem. But in July of 2025, Twitch published a statement announcing that it was rolling out changes that meaningfully improved their ability to identify view bots, inauthentic viewership, and other potentially fake engagement. Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, also made his own statement clarifying the company was taking its time in enforcing these updates to avoid inadvertently filtering out real users. And of course,
no shot that they're actually doing a good job at doing that. Everything else they flubbed, and they're gonna get this one right. Nope, no thank you. Not buying that one.
This had people watching the viewer data like hawks in the following weeks and months, hoping to see changes that confirm their suspicions. And without fail, stream stats site like Twitch Tracker showed that viewership across the entire platform started seeing a downtrend, with hundreds of thousands of live viewers going missing since August 21st. And similarly, a Twitch account called Viewer Metrics started posting screenshots from their bot detector tool, causing some of the biggest streamers on the platforms like XQC and SodaPoppin to start reacting to them.
6,000 chat-connected bots with 5,000 view components entered a steady rate in the first hour. 640 chat-connected bots detected. They were all shut down 10 minutes before the stream ended. I mean, like, Seer even. Playboy Max, I don't know who the that is. DDG, whoever the Emaru. Neon. It's actually not a big deal, but the other ones you can see, like, 6,000.
Wait, is that like the bot police? Hold on. Did they have like a better way to detect view bots?
Chat-connected bots with 5,000 view components and
6,000 chat. What is he looking at?
And the names and stats that kept coming out were shocking to say the least. Not because
and you can only stop the bots for so long. You can only catch the bots for so long before the people who are running the bots figure out how to run more bots. It doesn't take long at all. That's why, let's say like Blizzard with World of Warcraft, they have a time frame that they have where they just randomly delete all of the bots and all of the people that they decide to ban all at once, rather than, you know, over time, whenever they catch them, ban them. They have times where they're like, everybody that we caught, ban them now.
Because of these shining examples, but because a lot of them are top streamers, with some of the worst offenders allegedly being Neon, Plaqueboy Max, Emaru, and DDG. And people...
You don't say Neon. Emaru, that one's shocking, actually. But Neon, that one doesn't surprise me at all.
Even pointed out the irony in the Mizkif getting angry at Emaru's viewer count being higher during that whole saga, because if they were allegedly both botting, why are you crying? Just buy more bots than her. Like, if you're allegedly playing dirty, why not just up those numbers? That's a joke, by the way. I dislike people who bot because it just ruins...
Let's up those numbers! Jellywig lives on.
It for everyone trying to play fair. But this viewer metrics Twitter was posting as recently as December. So you have nearly half a year of exposing streamers for botting. And it appears like there's no signs of streamers slowing down on the view botting. Like, come on, is this not embarrassing, guys? Worse. But again, as I said, you can't really prove anyone is botting unless they admit to it or accidentally tab out and you see some like view botting tool or website, like many streamers have unfortunately done. And then you have that other issue of anytime someone figures out how to detect bots, they find some sort of...
I don't even know how to purchase bots. I kind of want to find out, but I'm afraid to look it up because I might get banned. I don't want to get banned on every platform because I'm trying to figure out how to get bots, which I would never do. That'd be kind of funny though if I look it up and then I get a whole bunch of viewers out of nowhere.
Work around, and the bots continue to get smarter, and it becomes harder and harder to discern whose community is real and whose is fake.
And my devs, or not my devs, but the devs that I work with, right, they've calculated some of these view bots that we encounter have to cost between 10 to 20,000 a week. Like, we're talking like fully automated IPs are completely spread, right? Like the most basic view bot, every IP is going to show up from one country if you catch my drift, right? I'm sure you can guess which country, right? But there are some complex view bots now that ping IPs, like one IP per...
It couldn't be India, could it?
Goddamn city around the world. None of them overlap. Do you understand? There's one way we can catch them now, but I'm not going to say that way because I'm sure the view botting technology is going to learn and adapt from that. But that's the problem. You understand? People, like, I'm telling you, clout is a hell of a drug.
Like, for instance, someone who is getting a lot of view botting accusations thrown in...
Eventually, only verified users are going to count toward views, and like random viewers are not going to count anymore. You're going to have to be verified as a real person who engages with the platform in order for them to count as a view to get you paid. And people are going to get paid a lot less, but also maybe not. Maybe that means that verified users will just be worth more. Their view will be worth more. Well, literally it will be. But maybe compared to now, it'll be worth more.
This way is currently the Burnt Peanut. And he's a streamer who's recently just blown up due to his short form content repeatedly going viral.
And dude is hilarious. And he really reminds me of how YouTube was back in like 2012, but modernized with a VTuber avatar.
So are you playing off your Xbox Kinect mic?
Yes.
Xbox, turn off! Worth it.
And I mean, it's easy to see why.
It kind of reminds me of like Oni Plays, Oni NG, like the Newgrounds guys, that kind of vibe. I think he probably was a Newgrounds kid, honestly. He strikes me as that kind of person.
The combination of the ridiculous filter with his almost obnoxious persona is quite funny, and him being a mostly expressionless peanut makes him yelling and acting like a general troll in games more, I guess, endearing rather than infuriating. And look, he isn't really doing anything actually that bad. It's just, you know, genuinely normal in-game griefing. But with the wrong persona, his shtick could easily rub people the wrong way. And with the view-botting whispers starting to circle him, it seems like it sort of is now.
By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, it was just a tweet on Twitter. It blew up today. Let me tell you, you know what? Dude, I was sleeping when that Twitter thing blew up. We didn't even do nothing this time. He went viral on Twitter in our sleep. That's called motion.
Because as much as he denies them, now that people have started to find a reason to dislike him, they're starting to pick apart.
It is like the adult version of Annoying Orange. It's like the Annoying Orange basically was ridiculed into becoming the Burnt Peanut.
Everything he does, because unfortunately that's just kind of how the internet works.
You guys mind if I be a little unhumble for a second? I don't like being unhumble. I just like hanging out with you boys and gaming, but I kind of got to just for like a second, guys. I call view botting the loser's topic. That's what I call it. You have too many viewers, not enough likes, you're view botting. You have too many viewers, you have too many likes, you're like botting. You have too many viewers, you don't have enough subscribers, you're view botting. You have too many viewers, too many subscribers, you're subscribe botting. You have too many viewers on Twitch, you don't have as much viewers on Kick, you're view botting on Twitch. If you have too many viewers on YouTube, but you don't have as many viewers on Twitch, you're view botting on YouTube. You can spin it any way you can. At the base of the argument, it's cope. There's no way to prove anyone is view botting or if they're not.
But I mean,
yeah, none of it affects me in any way because it's still probably gonna be the same amount of views. So I don't give a fuck.
Looking at his stats, they seem to be.
It's a big club, and I ain't in it yet. No, I don't want to be in it.
Especially when you look at him compared to some of his peers. Not to mention,
I would rather sit where I am than be one of them.
Also forget the power of short form content. Like, you can take one viral TikTok or YouTube shorts and that can change your entire life, and that's not even exaggerating. Look at the Haktua girl. She kind of fumbled that, but see, if you capitalize on it, it can go pretty well for you. Just don't scam your fans. So as far as the guilty streamers go, the Burnt Peanut seems very low on my list in regards to view botting. But naturally, the list of the accused continues to grow, but there's only a few people that have actually been caught red-handed or live. People like Convi and Heel Mike, and the former showing a little receipt of 1,000 Twitch viewers and then being forced to admit it live, and then the latter going from 16,000 to 2,000 live viewers. See, that's just so blatant and crazy. But then you have this clip of XQC watching Stable Ronaldo lose thousands of viewers live and call him out for his chatter rate being suspiciously low.
Wait, what the fuck? Is this a glitch? Why does it say XQC has more viewers than me? What is he, cheating the system? What is this? Did bro get insecure? He starts taking away my viewers. Oh, this is weird.
I have 90% chatter rate.
Oh, he hired someone at Twitch to take away my...
Your chatter rate is like 30%. And you fluctuate 5-6K every time an ad runs.
I just ran an ad. That's how I make my...
Oh, you can hear me. I forgot. My bad. Sorry. I'm typing it. Yo, run.
Yo, Q, instead of calling out a streamer like me, why don't you call out the real streamers? Why don't you say names, bro?
But again, that's not really concrete proof aside from Convi, but...
I love it. I love watching a bunch of retard streamers who just have way too much money for doing nothing fight on the internet. It's great.
Pretty interesting that XQC makes it seem like he knows, and I think they do, because you have Train, XQC, and now Aiden Ross, all of them saying the same thing. Everyone viewbots. But when Ice Poseidon accused Aiden of viewbotting, what did he do? Well, apparently agreed with him.
It's Ice, bro. I'll just say this, guys. I don't give a bro. There's nothing to say, bro. If he thinks he viewbot, listen, you think some people, guys, everybody's inflated. Like I openly admit it. I don't give.
Also, do you have to talk like that? Do you have to talk like this just so you can get some views? Because holy shit, why do so many people who can barely fucking talk have so many views? Like Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, XQC.
90% of streamers inflate, guys.
So I guess this is because 90% of streamers are doing it, then you can't be mad at him for also doing it. Like, honestly, that's just a horrible excuse by any measure, and disheartening when you see nothing happening to these top streamers who continuously get called out and even caught for doing these things, but nothing really happens to them. So what happens when a good chunk of the viewership on streaming sites isn't even real? Well, I mean, it could easily be considered fraud because sponsors often base how much they're willing to pay based on viewership. But when these advertisers are suddenly saying more sales, at least in percentage wise, from the smaller creators than the top guys. I mean, even
people like me used to be more valuable on YouTube, at least. I don't know about other platforms because they didn't really exist, because they would sponsor people like me with like $20, $50, $100 in hopes of us blowing up. And who knows, maybe back then they would view bot you and then you would blow up and then their product would get seen. So they would take chances a lot, especially if you seemed like you had some higher tier content that would blow up. Eventually that stopped happening. I think it was around the time when you had people like Markiplier at the top of YouTube. I think is really when everything started to change.
And them can tell something's wrong. And I guess, why would Twitch and Kick go out of their way to deter big sponsorships when they could just simply turn a blind eye to the problem? I don't know. I feel like it's only a matter of time before the system implodes on itself, because companies will suddenly stop sponsoring streamers as much. And the people that it'll really affect are the people who are playing fair, which most regularly are the smaller streamers. So massive kudos to all the small streamers who are actually playing fair and are growing organically. Because I mean, at this point, it feels like it's like every day a new streamer comes out and either accuses someone of viewbotting or just outright admits to it themselves, because it seems like it doesn't even matter anymore, which is crazy and just sad, honestly. It's so disheartening. But hey, it'll definitely be interesting to see what the eventual fallout of
Well, it's not really that disheartening if you already figured that the whole game was rigged anyway. I knew it was rigged some way. I was either being shadow banned, I was being held back in some way, or there was some way that I wasn't getting to actually get viewers to break out. And I just do not fucking care. I do not care. I've been doing this for so fucking long. It's just for fun. Like, I'm not trying to get famous. I don't even know what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get famous or anything.
This is. I find it hard to believe that sponsors are watching these clips of Eddie and Aiden shamelessly stating that most of their best and brightest are actually lying about their reach. But what can these streaming sites do to combat this without also banning people who aren't guilty? Maybe start with the people who are outright admitting to viewbotting.
It's not going to change. All it's going to do is make me go, oh, Rage is like Kai Cenat. He got 80,000 people in this shit. Don't go, yo, he viewbotting. So what? It's legal. Remember, whatever's legal, you should do. What these think, bro?
But who knows? Maybe Kick is
It's actually not legal. It's fraud, but nobody's going to do anything about it.
Aiden, because that's what he claims to think.
Yo, Kick is playing with me, bro. Chat, we are stuck at 8. We're stuck, bro. I think we're cooked, dude. It's time. Let's just leave. Let's go. Let's go back to purple.
So apparently he's claiming that Kick is capping his viewership. So essentially saying they're reverse viewbotting him and he's switching back over to Twitch. But I mean, it's not like everyone over there is also inflated as well. Who knows? But this is also coming after Aiden says that Kick is now strapped for cash and is really in some.
You know what reverse viewbotting is? They have recognized that somebody's viewbotting them, so they didn't count those as views. That's what happened.
Water with all the lawsuits going on. One of the most notable ones being the situation going on in France, where a Kick streamer passed away while doing this 24/7 stream. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what comes of this. Either way, Kick says that they pay people based on real viewership. And if the rumors that they're strapped for cash are true, they definitely need to stop paying for dishonest streamers who are botting their numbers. So overall, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all this. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a
Yeah, I'll drop a like. That was cool. Love it, Tozy. Definitely subscribe to this dude if you're not. We'll go back to X for a minute. See if we got anything else interesting. What we got, X? Anything cool? I don't care about Elon Musk. Incorrect information. Okay. No. What is this? Andy Frisella explains his theory that President Trump is intentionally infuriating the masses with his apathy about the Epstein files to incite unified public demand for action to be taken.
I see it differently than most everybody do.
Yeah.
I see the public being intentionally enraged in order to put pressure so that the people can be held accountable. That's what the fuck I see.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I could be wrong. Okay? And that's why I say, hey, you can't count on that.
Yep.
And you have to like do your part to organize and
What do
get
you think? You
involved
think
in
he's
all these
wrong?
things that we talk about.
In the event that fails.
Correct. The problem is I can't think of another way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of another way to arrest heads of.
You want to know what actually happened with all of this? Why? This is real. This is a real thing. At least partially true. Why Trump was trying to suppress the Epstein files. Doesn't matter what's in there. Good or bad, true or false, it was going to make the stock market completely crash. And it kept making it crash and crash and crash. And he just wanted it to be over because they're using the stock market money right now for like that's what they're using for the oil refineries, the oil rigs, stuff like that. They're using the stock market. They can't have it crash. And that's literally the whole thing. I'm telling you, that's the whole thing. It's literally all because of money. It's not because Trump's in the files, not because Trump did anything weird. It's because they want the system to stay so they can hold on to power because they're afraid that it's about to burn down.
You know, government or
without just saying fuck everybody, fuck the optics, don't give a shit. Like
no,
yeah,
because dude, if you don't have the public approval for that, you're the one that ends up getting held accountable. You don't think that Trump knows that? This isn't like, because dude, like if we find out Trump's involved in this,
okay, cool,
wood
easy.
chipper,
Done.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, like this is not loyalty to anybody. This is me evaluating strategically.
I don't think he's involved with Epstein, but I think he's involved with the system that was involved with Epstein, and he really likes benefiting from it.
How you would actually do it in real life. I mean, we all like to say, fucking do it. But if he had come in on the first day and arrested all these people, 90% of the people thought all this shit was fake.
Right.
Okay. And most people have no idea how deep the fraud has been.
Yeah, that's just the iceberg.
Right.
The,
And so
the
you
whole
have-
rest of it's underneath.
Right. You
Yeah.
have all these things coming to light at once.
And nothing's gonna be done about it. Some stuff's gonna happen, of course. But I think simultaneously everything is gonna get better and worse, and it's gonna come apart, and then the world's gonna end.
And then you look back at like
Good
how
luck.
he handled Venezuela and Greenland and strategically pretty much guaranteed like that no country can like be in control of what happens after that, something like to me, dude, you don't think that Trump knows that like if he fucking did this, that he would go down in history as the greatest president of all time? You don't think he fucking knows that? And by the way,
or not just president, historical figure. So if that's true, then why is he not doing it?
I'm seeing other people saying this shit now.
Yeah, what's
Okay.
that?
Saying what I'm saying right now,
Yeah.
that this is a strategic play. But let's just remember who said it first when nobody was fucking saying shit.
Yeah.
Whenever, because now we're starting to see other people
Yeah,
with
okay.
podcasts
Oh, I get it
who are
now.
very
Yeah.
popular.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying we'll fucking see. I have yet to see anything ever get better. Like this whole thing with immigration with ICE. They didn't even go full force on that. They're done, by the way. They're done. They're not doing it anymore in Minnesota or Minneapolis, I think. The job's not done, but they're pulling out. So what the fuck was the whole point of it? I don't get it.
Saying what I'm saying, and I would just like to remind everybody that that was my fucking brain that thought that out.
Yeah, it's not your light bulb, big dog.
Right.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. We'll see. What happened? Okay. Okay, Alex Jones is clear about the video that I was talking about earlier, where he was talking about they released all the Epstein files. They did not do that. He's taking accountability. Okay, start talking. I want to hear what you got to say.
It is Sunday, February 15th, 2026. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Thank you for tuning in to this transmission at Infowars.com/show on stations across the country, and of course on X at Real Alex Jones, as well as Rumble at the Alex Jones Show. All right. Yesterday,
I can't unsee his head twitching whenever he talks. Alex Jones have become a fraud. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones. I've never really been a big fan. I think he's funny. I think he's right about a lot of things. Probably about most of the things he's talking about, usually. But the way he talks about them, and the way he comes to his conclusions, and the way he brings it up in podcasts, the conversations he has around the things that he talks about, it's so fucking tiring because he's just crazy. He may be right, but he's still crazy.
Day at about 8:30, I'm getting ready to go.
And this time he was wrong, obviously.
From a hotel here in Miami and drive over to a popular podcast.
Oh, there was protests going on, the No Kings protest, where he kept bringing up fake news about, like, there was less people at the protest than there actually were, and was talking about how it was drone footage from a previous protest, and it totally wasn't. It was just completely fake. I looked it up. I tried to get people, and everybody was sharing it. Everybody on the right was sharing it. And I was like, bro, even Alex Jones, like, what is going on here? And I didn't see anybody talk about it. A few people came out and said, was like, shit, everybody's sharing this fake news, but nobody took accountability for that. I think everybody just deleted it and pretended that they didn't talk about it. And hopefully everybody forgot.
And all of a sudden my phone blows up, and all these big credible sites and news groups and influencers are saying, oh my God, they just released all the rest of the Epstein files. Because they're holding back a large portion of them. Well,
3 million plus.
The names, the quote, victims, and the victimizers, it seems.
I wonder if they're ever going to release those. We only got half.
Mainly. And so I look at it, and I had been talking to folks about the White House last week, and Trump was starting to understand that this doesn't implicate him, as he always knew, so why not bring it forward, and that they were planning to get rid of all the redactions, period. Because we need to know in these emails and other documents who these victimizers are. It's cut and dry, raping of children, Satanism, cannibalism. I mean, there's even more insane stuff that's been found that I'll get to.
I think a lot of it's fake, but unfortunately, I think a lot of it's real. In those Epstein files, those emails. The emails are really easy to fake, especially if you can get in between emails. But I think a lot of it's real, and it's so fucked up, man. Like, how do you go after something like that? And how do you go after people who were using code words? And it's obviously a code, but you don't fucking know. It's so fucked up, man. That's why I think just let the whole system burn and let everything sort itself out. I'm not going to be the cause for the fire, but I'll watch from the woods. Hopefully the woods don't catch fire, but if they do, then fuck. Whoops. He lost his entire business after his bullshit about the Sandy Hook school shooting. Yeah. He didn't, though. He didn't. He did temporarily. He did lose it temporarily, but he didn't lose it. He was never really going to lose anything. They knew that they weren't going to get him on anything. They had to do some bullshit.
Here in a few minutes. It's and a lot more with the evening tonight.
Like, didn't they charge him more than the GDP of most countries? Like, he's never going to pay that. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? It's just idiots all around.
That Harris is going to be going over. So I was very excited because it was just confirmation of what I was hearing. But I was like, wow, I thought they were just going to unredact the names, not automatically just release all these other files that they were processing through. Remember, it's 6 million, not 3 million. And so then I go do the podcast, and boom, I wake up this morning and people are like, hey, that's not the case. That's not what happened here. And so I went and checked it out, and it's not. They just unredacted a whole bunch of the stuff and put out a letter, a document with people that are most prominently mentioned in the files using a computer program, similar to what the Economist magazine did a few days before. And of course, I'm in there dozens and dozens of times. It's all negative. I'm exposing Pizzagate and pedophilia, and that I'm a horrible person, and they need to get me. I saw the left pick that up and just showed them in the file, but not to say why. But that's a side issue. I responded to that last night. So
The $1.4 billion judgment against Alex Jones for claiming the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting was a hoax will stand as the Supreme Court on Tuesday rebuffed the right-wing commentator's request for the court to take up the case and overturn the ruling against him. $1.4 billion. Yeah, well, I mean, he's not gonna pay that, and he's not gonna get locked up for not paying it. I don't know what they're trying to do with that. I think they're trying to make an example out of him, but it's not actually going to do anything. Especially if he's not actually the one running his company, then they can't really get him on anything except for maybe garnishing his wages.
This is similar to when they had the influencer show. They gave the binders saying this is all the Epstein files. We looked at it with the first to break. This is old. I mean, it's not as bad as that, but it's in that territory where, boom, here it is. They've put it out, and it's 9 o'clock at night on Valentine's Day, and I go and report on it, and I wish that was the case. They have to release this, and Trump's been warming towards that. He's been talking about that. He thinks it's going to hurt innocent people. And he's talking about his friends getting embarrassed, like Ludnick. Well, there's no evidence of Ludnick raping kids, but Ludnick did lie. He did say that he only met Epstein once and thought he was super creepy, him and his wife, and basically ran away. Then years later, he's at the island with his kids. Who else knows what's going on? But
I think if you're in the Epstein files and you're innocent and your name gets put out there, you should be hailed as a hero. But I'm sorry, we've got to do something. We got to do something about these people, man.
We continue to focus on all of that. What we need to focus on is why there aren't prosecutions of the people that are clear.
Oh, well, we know why. We just want to know what the fuck we can do to actually get it done. Because we obviously know why.
Clearly in here talking about raping little girls, and we're talking about young ones. They try to keep it at the 14-year-olds and just leave it at that. It's way worse. As I said 16, 17, 18 years ago, I was the first to say it's Satanism, it's the occult, because that's what happens in these circles. Satanism is always involved when you have organized.
Yeah, I think it gets way worse than what people imagine too. It's just like people that are having these weird satanic ritual cults. They are practicing like demonic possession and stuff. Whether you believe in it or not, they get into a mood where it is demonic possession. You know what I mean? Like it is. You can see it in their faces, the way they act, the way they move their bodies. Like there's something comes over them that I could only describe as demonic possession.
Groups doing this. I've been exposing this for over 30 years because the experts were alive then and were able to reveal the information to me, Ted Gunderson, John DeCamp, and so many others. So MTG did something when this first broke 2 weeks ago. She tweeted on X at Massey and said, listen, you need to search when you're able to get into Congress are able to go to the DOJ and see the unredacted files, pizza, beef jerky, things like that. Because then you can see the names of the men that are actually doing this. And still, here we are 2 weeks later, and it's not happening. I'm not saying Massey's in on the cover-up. I'm not saying Massey.
I think that it just takes a really long time to get things done in the government. And the bigger the issue, the longer it takes. And this is bigger than JFK. And we only recently got some real hard-hitting stuff about the JFK files. Pretty much, we know the CIA, which we knew the CIA did it anyway, but the CIA was behind it. Same kind of people that were involved with Epstein. We're never going to get information about Epstein. Maybe we'll get something like 200 years later when this is a completely different country and it's taken over by the Baba Goblins, the new race of people that popped up out of nowhere with their new religion. Oh yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm done with this. That's where I'm going to end tonight's stream. It's been fun. Been here for a couple hours reacting to stuff. I think I got enough footage to upload videos for tomorrow. So I'm good, man. I'll be back same time tomorrow, midnight Central Time. But if you want to check out the gaming stream, I'll be playing Baldur's Gate 3 at 9 p.m. just a couple hours before. Take care, brother. Yeah, you take care too, man.